Let's get down to the meat of the podcast. I spoke at a marketing workshop earlier this week, had a really good time. The room was mainly small business owners. I got asked a good question that made me think of the podcast. As soon as this question came out of this person's mouth, I was like, oh, that's going on the podcast. So this lady owns a brand new business, a women's clothing business, a brick and mortar store. And her question was basically, we're starting out at zero. We're a brand new business. We're just opening our doors. And she had said, well, what would you recommend from a digital standpoint? Well, obviously, the first thing I would say is build a strategy. So let's assume we at Strong Coffee Marketing are building a digital strategy for this brand new business, just opening its doors. What are some of the first tools, tactics, channels that we would want to recommend to this brand new business? Duncan, what would be something that would be pretty high on your list right off the bat?
Well, I mean, I think first and foremost, you have to understand the market a little bit. You have to understand your competition. So if they haven't done it yet, you already have a brick and mortar for a store, so you'd hope they would have done it beforehand. But understanding, where is the traffic, or is there traffic anywhere near my store? Where's the communities that will be purchasing? Who's my target market? Like, these are just basic things. But also understanding, how many other businesses that are similar to mine are in this location or even online. So like, I know you talked about digital, and I think a lot of people sort of pigeonhole themselves. A lot of the companies that we talk to are like, oh no, these are our competitors, and they say 1, 2, and 3, and then you go online and those competitors are nowhere to be found for any of the keywords that be related to this business. So I think people need to understand that, the digital realm is a little bit different than, like the day-to-day business realm. And when you build a strategy of any sort and they're looking at your competitors, you kind of have to look at both the competitors that you just feel are the competitors in market for the same customers that you have, but also digitally, who are your competitors, who are you competing with in that space? Because they are often two different lines of business, two different companies.
Yeah. And I mean, sometimes you can get good ideas from what they're doing. You can learn from some of their mistakes as well.
You can sign up to their newsletters
and
and see what they're doing. It's great recon for business development.
Yeah. Understanding that landscape is kind of key. And to your point, Duncan, that I know we're talking about digital, but you still have to know that stuff for digital. Like, it doesn't change. You still need to have the fundamentals and the basic knowledge and understanding of the market to do anything on digital too. You can't just press a button and make things work. I think that's a really good one. Ian, what would you recommend right off the bat for somebody like this?
Right off the bat, I would say paid ads are a good thing to understand and build right away. If you're a brand new business, obviously you don't have the sort of the awareness among your audience or the clout that to have people come straight to you. So getting out there, directing ads to your target audience and things like that is a great way to get your name out there and make sure that the people who you see as your target audience understand what you have to offer. So I think paid ads are a great way to do that in a way that's obviously organic, can take much longer to build up. But a few other things that I think are worth mentioning are obviously social media. We talked, Brian, and Duncan just mentioned about understanding who your audience is and understanding the landscape and things like that. So if you're on social media, don't spread yourself too thin. Just pick 1, maybe 2 channels that you know your audience is on and start building up either organic there, or you can do some paid ads on that as well. Again, gets your name out there. And importantly, something to think about when you are doing your paid ads is testing them. So don't just write one ad, hit send or hit start and be done with it. Write several different ones and see what you can learn from them. Which one performs the best? What can you learn from that? What can you take forward to your next ad? And when it comes to actually building the ads themselves, there's a variety of free tools out there. You can use Canva, you can use AI, things like that. You might not be the best designer, you might not be the best copywriter, but if you've got an idea, there are tools out there to help you build what you're looking for. So I think that would be a great place to start.
I was just going to add, as the ads guy, I think it largely does depend on your market. So like, Brian, where were you speaking and where was this person located?
Strathcona County, Sherwood Park.
Okay, so I mean, you're near a bigger city, like Edmonton's not far from there. So I mean, I could see ads definitely helping locally, but like if you're in the middle of, you're kind of maybe in a smaller town surrounded by rural, ads won't get you very far because there's not enough population there. So it really does largely depend on where you are. I think certain larger cities, yeah, making sure that you're visible because you already have competition in the market is smart. But if you're in a smaller town with not a lot around, you'd be better off with a sandwich board sign out front your storefront than you would running ads, just because of the way that people consume information is a lot different in smaller towns than it is in larger ones.
True. Yeah, and I think
posters at the grocery store, stuff like that.
Yeah, a really good question. Is digital appropriate for my business? You know, because a digital strategy might be complete overkill if you are in a situation like that where your audience is all within a 3 mile radius.
Yeah, no. And everyone just comes to town anyway, and you just have to be in town.
You're there, and your location is good, and that's how you get it. Ian, you brought up AI too, and I know there were some questions about AI in this presentation as well. I kind of was framing it as AI can help you and can streamline things. It's not going to just make you a better marketer. It's going to help you with some of those things on a path towards that. And I think that's really important to understand that it's meant as a tool to assist, not as a tool to basically just do everything for you. And that's where it's really, really helpful. And for a small business owner who doesn't have the resources, you could really, it could help you a lot, streamline things.
Absolutely right. Yeah, you do need to know what you want to say, obviously, before you put it into something like a large language model. You want to have an idea of what it is you're trying to communicate first, and then that can help you tidy up your writing or make it a bit more engaging or whatever. But yeah, I think that's absolutely right.
Yeah. For me, like a Google business listing is it's the simplest thing of all time, regardless of urban, rural, wherever you are. It's free, it's easy to do, and you can get started with that. So automatically you've got some sort of presence, not only online, but also on Google. Maybe a simple small website just so you have some sort of presence. Now, again, as you guys both touched on, really depends on the situation. Is that a big priority for you at the time? It really depends on where you're at. But for me, I think regardless, thinking like a creator, you can never have enough photos of the products coming in your store. You can never have enough video. You can never gather enough stuff that it's ever going to hurt you. You're going to need photos and videos, etc., for ads or for a website or for your Google business listing or for offline ads, even pictures. You need that kind of stuff. So building out that content repository really early on, maybe even before the store opens, showing people this is what we're going to have when the store opens. Here's product coming through the door. It's never too early to start that either. So Google business listing for me, outside of building a strategy, understanding your market, etc., that's just a given, and you can do it. What does it take you? 10 minutes? Like, it doesn't take very long, and it's free.
Nope.
So there's some simple things right off the bat, and then as you start to grow, you start to learn about your audience, and you can adapt to the situation with some of the tools that have been discussed. So there, I hope she's off on the right foot and selling her clothing, and hope she does really well.